Hey guys, so for today I'm going to be refining a spread from my Hansel and Gretel book dummy project. And I'm only going to show one spread because I didn't have the time to finish all 15 spreads for this video. That would have been a long video. Even if I had finished it. So we're just going to jump in with this first spread. And you can see here I went ahead and pulled in the completed cottage design that I did a couple of videos, more than a couple of videos. It was more like back in December, I think, when I did that video. But yeah, it was convenient that it fit perfectly, this first spread, in that perspective. So I didn't have to redraw the house again. So right here, I'm going to kind of speed through the line work in the background because I had some footage that was just super laggy and I just couldn't get rid of it, so I don't know. Anyway, so a little bit about this project for anyone who's kind of new here. It's basically a book dummy project. It's not going to be a final book that can be sent out and published because it's using a manuscript that I technically paid for through a class that I took by the School of Visual Storytelling, their children's book pro class. And it was a really good class. I really enjoyed it. At the time, I couldn't really finish the project, which is this project, because I had other clients that I was working with and it was just a really crazy year. So I kind of left it alone for a while after the class ended and decided to, hey, why not add more to my portfolio by working on this project? So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And right here, I've already started sketching in the stepmother. I also made her the same character as the witch. I think I mentioned that in another video. It just made a lot of sense that she was the same person. She kicks the kids out. They end up in the forest where she, as the witch, tries to eat them. And it just made sense that she was the same character. That was her motivation for getting rid of the kids. Yeah, that was my creative liberty with the manuscript because that's not what was written. It wasn't defined. But yeah, we discussed that in the last video I did. So moving on. So yeah, here you can kind of see me drawing in her face, and I do have the original character design up on the top left that I'm referencing. And if you're interested, you can see all the original character designs on my website, which is linked in the description. I did try to follow this character design, but in the end, her face just needed to be pointier. And that's what's so funny about drawing these characters over and over again, is that you're gonna possibly look back and be like, oh wow, I didn't even know I changed this feature about them. So yeah, character consistency is very important, especially if you're like working on a children's book series, because you're gonna do multiple books with these same characters and they should probably look alike throughout. So yeah, I'm definitely still working on that skill. And just a little side note, I decided to record myself like this for certain portions of the video because sometimes I like to see someone physically drawing something rather than a screen with a cursor running around. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just decided to change it up a bit here and there. So yeah, if it bothers you or if you really like it, let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Anyway, right here, I'm kind of crossing her arms so her pose looks a little more interesting than just having her hands on her side. And she's kind of got arms that are basically like little sticks. And I made all of these character designs kind of like elevated stick figures, I guess. And that just made it really simple to draw them, so I wasn't really worried about anatomy and muscles and stuff. It's just super simple little limbs that look like sticks. With the exception of the dad, though, because he's a woodsman and he's out chopping wood and helping his family survive. So he's got muscles. His arms aren't little sticks. So something else that I kind of have to consider very soon is how I'm going to color the final illustrations. I don't know if I want to do it digitally or if I want to try adding some traditional pen and ink work. That's something I really enjoy doing. So I might want to do that, but also it's already digital and I don't have to deal with like transferring all the illustrations onto paper, inking them, and then getting that back onto the computer to edit again. So I don't know. We'll see. So now I'm working on the dad here. He's got kind of a cute little smile. In his original character design here, he looks pretty sad. And I don't really want him to look too cutesy, but right now that's kind of what he's looking like. And that's okay. I will fix it eventually. Adding his little scruffy beard. It kind of does look funny that he's got a beard and he looks so cutesy. But we'll fix that. Just moving his eyes is gonna help that, because sometimes it does come down to eye placement with age. Look, you can see that aged him like 10-15 years. But yeah, definitely if you ever feel like your character's looking too young, move around their features a little bit, because you never know, sometimes it's the eye placement and it's too low. But that kind of worked because his face is super long. If it's a rounded face, I'm not sure if that applies as well. So yeah, and his eyes are kind of not filled in. He's supposed to be sort of hypnotized, I guess. He's under a witch's spell, because that's the only way I could justify him being okay with this stepmother coming in and telling him basically, hey, we gotta get rid of these kids. Let them wander off in the forest and we'll have enough to eat finally. So yeah, I kind of added that to the story as well, because he's supposed to be this loving dad, and I don't think he would actually just follow what the witch said. So he is hypnotized, so his eyes kind of have this weird open gaze, I guess. So he's got his little suspenders and everything. He's muscly. Now we're going to move on to Gretel. Here is her original character design. I also did a refined version of her design. I still kind of like the original one better, so I might just do like a cross between the two. And yeah, because I think her dress was just a little too poofy in the newer version, so I'm going to try and balance that out a bit. They also all have like really defined blush on their cheeks. And she's obviously not smiling, and neither is Hansel. They are both very much aware that something is not right with their stepmother. She's not a normal person. And now we have Hansel, and this is his original character design, which has been pretty easy to stick to. He's pretty basic looking. He's got some high-waisted pants and a vest. And for interest, I did roll up one of his pant sleeves, but that's about it. He's still really cute. So I'm just gonna add some shading here, and I will do more shading for them at the end, but I'm gonna go back and fill in the background, so it'll be easier to kind of get their values after everything in their environment is shaded in. Okay, so now we're going to shade in the background a bit and add some values. I used to really hate this step because I just wanted to jump in and start painting, so it's taken me some time to kind of learn to implement it in my process, but it's very important and it's helpful because you'll become a much faster illustrator if you plan how your values and your lighting are supposed to look for each illustration before you actually go into color. It also makes coloring a lot more relaxing and fun because you kind of know where everything's supposed to go and what everything's supposed to be value-wise. So yeah, it's definitely good to make plans and do a lot of preliminary work beforehand, so that way your final work is quick and also very high quality. But yeah, it did take me a while to get used to doing this step because I just wanted to start painting, didn't want to have to deal with a black and white version, but here I am. Okay, I'm just gonna adjust the background and foreground a little bit more before I go back in and finish shading the characters. Alright, I just have to add the final shading to the characters and then we'll be all done with the first spread out of 15 spreads that I have to do for this book. Which I don't actually have to do all of them if I don't want to. This isn't like a project with a deadline of any kind. It's just something I'm doing to add to my portfolio, some extra pieces to further my skills in the process of making a children's book. So I don't necessarily have to finish the entire thing, but it would be nice. It would be nice to have it finished. I think my phone died, and so I had to switch back to the screen recorded version. But anyway, we're coming to the end of this, and I just wanted to say, for the rest of the 15 spreads, I may or may not do a video showing myself go through that. I don't know, it just depends on how much you guys actually like seeing this process, which if I did do a time-lapse version of the rest of the pages, I probably wouldn't do a voiceover like this, because that would be a very long video. And it would definitely be something that comes out like months from now, just because I am super busy trying to get my Etsy store updated, and that's just been very time consuming. Because my next video, which 2 weeks from now, is going to be about my Etsy store, and that's why everything's a little crazy right now. Anyway, that is all I have for this illustration. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing more of this project, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!